Welcome to the Bosch Power Tools. So today we have GSB 10RE kit. So we'll understand what the kit does and what are the features of the kit. So you see this comes in a nice box and this got a sleeve. A sleeve has got a lot of information, so we can understand a lot about the kit, right, going through the sleeve that we have over here. So what do we see here? Okay, there's Bosch written out here. So it's professional, which means it's for all the professional activities. Clearly mentioned impact drill in Hindi as well, yes. GSB 10RE, so this means this is a professional impact drill. 10 mm chuck, so that's the 10 numerical standing for R and E. R stands for reversible and E stands for electronic, which means that the speed of or the RPM would vary as you start triggering the switch more and more. So that's about 10RE. This is 500 watts, which means the motor of the machine is 500 watts. Right, and okay, here we have a 10 mm chuck clearly mentioned. So all the list of accessories that's inside the kit, so we'll open the kit and see that as well. So all this is right inside this kit. Now this is a QR code. Okay, this QR code is for registering into Beconnected, and this is a facility where the user and the dealer can register themselves onto the Beconnected app. Right, over here at the back. Again, the same details, GSB 10RE, 500 watts motor, various applications on which the tool can be used. So the first one out here is a wall, second one is wood, the third one is metal. All right. So there are three different areas where broadly the tool would be used. Right. And the features out here, so they are as I told you, the R stands for reversible, so it can go into forward and reverse mode. The body of the machine is double insulated. The machine is also double insulated, which means it is protecting you from the electrical shocks. All right. And the input power 500, that's mentioned here as well. The chuck system is keyed, so it's a keyed chuck, and the speed is 0 to 2600 RPM, and then the maximum diameter that it can drill in masonry, that's a brick wall or light concrete, is 10 mm. The maximum it can drill in wood is 20. The maximum it can drill in metal is 8 mm. The impact rate, so that means the impact with which the blows are hit on say a brick surface is 25,700 blows per minute. So that's the blow rate, and weight of the machine is 1.5 kg. So that's the weight of the machine. So that's what it's about the tool, and that's what you read from the total sleeve. Okay, we will open the box and see what's inside. So let's try to understand what's there in the box. So we will unbox the toolkit now. So this is, as we know, this is a GSB 10RE toolkit, and we unbox it and see what's inside. Okay, the first impression that we get is from the box, pretty robust. Pretty good, so which means that it's got a long life. It can be used for all the rugged operations that you want. All right, so that's the layout that we have here. So the tool is placed out here. All right, and then you have a sprit level, you have a adjustable wrench, you have a plier, there is a hammer, there are a series of sockets of various sizes, and then over here you have a knife, you have a holder. The holder is used for screwdriver bits as well as for sockets, right? And then we have various kinds of drill bits. So the first segment of drill bit is for wood. The second one, that is more silverish in color, this is for your brick wall or masonry. This is for metal, all right? And this is your measuring tape, right? So what's in here? These are plastic anchors or plugs with screws. So all of them are put in the same pouches. So each slot has got 10 plugs and 10 screws. Not to forget that these are screwdrivers, starting from Phillips, Posi drive. You also have Torx. So most of the applications, the day-to-day applications can be done by this screwdriver bits. So we'll talk about the tool right now. So what's it there in the tool? Now this is the tool that we have. This is GSB 10RE. So we have explained what all the nomenclatures stand for. So this comes with a cable. So this is a normal 2-pin cable, so which can be plugged on any of your normal connections at home or at office. So this is a normal one. All the cable and the socket, both of them are ISI, which means they're totally BIS compliant. All right. So that's the important part of it. All right. And then we need to understand what is there in the tool. So right on top is this red color knob you're able to see. This is your selection knob for normal drilling. So that's on this side. So normal drilling is basically for wood and metal. And there is a hammer logo here, and I can move it to this side. So that means this is activated for hammering or impact drill. So that means it is in this mode. When you have moved this red button to this side, so it is in this mode that you can always work on a brick wall. Okay, and on this mode you work both in metal as well as wood. So that's about this knob. So let's try to understand what's there. So this is a trigger switch. So as you press the trigger, the machine gets activated and the RPM will increase. Okay, and this is the lock on. If I have pressed this, so this is lock on, which means it has locked itself in the on position. So I don't have to keep my fingers on the switch. So I can start working like this, and machine will continue to work throughout. And I want to disengage, very simple. I just need to press this. So it's got disengaged, right? And this switch over here is for forward reverse. So which means this is more meant for your screw driving application, right? So let's try to understand how the speed varies as we trigger the switch. So I start at a very low RPM. So this does the job of the accelerator in your bike. So you give more acceleration, so it triggers more, right? So it's as simple as that. So let's try to understand so how to fix, let's say, a drill bit. Okay, so there is a chuck key, there is a slot for the chuck key, and I've taken out the chuck key here. And then we try to fix a drill bit. If you see here, this is a 3-jaw chuck. Okay, so I'm trying to put the drill bit inside. Does it go? No. So which means I need to open this further. Yeah, so that it gets fixed, and after that I need to put the chuck key in the slot and then tighten. At one point it will find itself tightened. It's tightened, yes, and please do the same activity in all the 3 holes that's on the chuck. So that means you know that you're fully tightened it. Your bit is totally tightened. You want to double check, just hold it. It's taking the weight of the tool, so that means it's properly tightened. Let's try to run it again. We might get into a situation where we want to identify what are these different bits for and how do we identify, because all of them more or less look the same. So how do we know that which drill bit is being used for what purpose? Is it for metal, wood, or for brick? So a very, very simple technique. I will teach you how to do that. Okay. So let's try to understand this. I'll pick the first drill bit. So this is for wood. Okay. So let's understand about the wood drill bit. So how do you identify a wood drill bit? So this has got the sharpest cone here. So if I'm going to press with my finger, I feel the prick. So that means this drill bit is for wood. So all for wooden applications. And the very purpose that this cone is given is basically to get yourself centered into the wood. All right, centered into the wood. So that's the drill bit for wood. As simple as that. So among these three drill bits, there is a drill bit that's going to be totally blunt, which means I'm trying to press it. No, it's okay. I'm not getting hurt. I don't feel any uncomfortable situation. So this drill bit is for your brick wall. All right. And there is a third drill bit. It's somewhere between sharp cone and somewhere between a blunt cone. So I'm trying to put this. Yes, so there is a slight irritation that I feel, and that is this drill bit is for metal. Okay. So again, we try to understand all three of them. So the one with the sharpest and the cone, This is for wood. The one that's totally blunt, this is for your brick wall or light concrete. The one in between them, so that's on the medium sharpness, this is for your metal. So that's as simple as that. Even if you have misplaced something on this thing, with the sharpness of the drill bit, you can find out which is the correct product or the accessory that you need to use for that particular application. Let's try to see what are the various applications that you can do. The first thing we'll start is with the hex head tightening and loosening. So there's a socket here. So we fix the socket onto this, and then we need to tighten this up. So let's try to see, is it fitted well? So some of the sockets are already tightened here, the hex ones. So let's try to loosen this up and then we tighten it again. When we're doing this activity is you have to run this on the low RPM. So we change the direction. Now we try to tighten this up. And we are going to do two applications in wood. One is drilling, the other one is screw driving. So as you see, we already fixed the wood bit in this. Importance of wood bit is that it's got a sharp edge right in the middle. So this is basically for pivoting. So it will pivot itself in the wood and then it drills straight into it. So let's do the drilling first. Right, so this is in the forward motion and this is in the normal rotary drill mode. So we do this, yeah. Important, please start at the lower RPM. So that's the drilling that we did. So next we get into screw driving. So we need to change the bit. All right, so there goes the bit. Okay, so let's try to screw drive. So we take a screw and we do a screw driving. So again, at the lower RPM. So that's fixed well. You want to untighten it, you can also do that. Fix it here, change the direction. So we'll drill in the sheet metal here. Let's wear our goggles so that we are safe. And then we put this on the lock-on mode and do it. You can also do it without lock-on mode, that's okay. But with lock-on mode, you can focus on the drilling and the straightness of the machine. So we fix this on the lock-on mode. So I trigger this on. So I'm going to drill onto a brick wall, okay, and we have a masonry bit put here. First need to check, is it on the hammering mode, and then is it in the right direction of drilling? That's correct, it is. So I put this onto the lock-on mechanism. I'll not put lock-on, and let me just try without this. So it will still work, right? So I place my bit where I want to drill and then I switch it on. We try to understand a very, very important part of the Bosch kit, okay, and what is that? So when you bought a kit, obviously you wanted to use it on some kind of a various applications. So this is an important application that we have here, how to drill onto a wall and fix something. When I'm saying fix, it's basically to anchor something. So what do you do after anchoring? After anchoring this, you can hang your curtains, wall hangings, clocks. It could be any of the sanitary stuff that you want to do, any electrical electrical fixings or attachments that you want to fix. So how do you do that? So we know this is a brick wall. Okay. Now first and foremost, we need to drill a hole and then fix a anchor. So two components out here. So this is a plug, so which goes inside the hole that you drill, and this is the screw. So what we do is we drill a hole first, okay, and then we put the anchor inside, and then the screw goes inside to tighten it up. So a part of the screw would still remain outside. That means it would protrude from the surface. So it's on that surface you can do some hanging, or you want totally flushed, then you can do the screw totally inside so that it gets totally flushed with the wall. So that's the thing that you can always do. So before you drill a hole, the most important thing that you need to find out is the size of the anchor. So the size of the anchor, this is an 8 mm anchor. This is a 8 mm drill bit as well. Okay. So they have to match. So the drill bit and anchor diameter has to match. So that's what we are trying to do now here. So we drill a 8 mm hole and then fix the anchor. As we go along, we explain more of that. So first let's drill. So we put this in the hammer mode. Yes, it's on. Yeah, perfect. So let's drill. So the first activity is over. We have drilled a hole and this is good enough. Second, we need to fix the anchor in it. So how do you do it? Just very simple. If you find this is slightly more dusty, just make sure that you remove the dust. Okay, this is the right way to remove the dust. Okay, and then just plug in and insert it with your hand. You see, now this is totally flushed. So the anchor is totally inside. All right. After this, I told you with this we are not able to achieve anything. Okay. So the screw has to go into this so that you want to hang something and things like that. So the anchor is pretty good. So it has a lot of load bearing capacity, and so you also need to use the good quality screws so that it can take the load bearing. So what I do is you can put this inside. All right. This is not good enough. You still need a screwdriver to tighten this up. It should have gone fairly inside so that there is no ply. Okay, this is good enough. It will still take a lot of load, but I want this to go further inside. So I do a few more rounds of screw driving. Right, now look at this. This is a perfect thing. All right, so it can take very good load. Right, so now we have fixed this, and this can take some good weight. You can hang something on this, or you can fix something onto this. So that's how it works. So that's the anchoring process on a brick wall with an impact drill. Hello and welcome back. So we will talk about some frequently asked questions on these topics, and these questions are very useful to all the people who want to use power tools and do various kinds of applications and various kinds of usages in wood, metal, or brick for that matter. So the most commonly asked question is, what is the difference between a GSB and a GBM? So this is a typical nomenclature that Bosch follows. I'm sure you go through the catalog or you go through any portal, then you understand that these two are listed and more or less they look the same, but you are not able to find the finer difference between them. So let's try to understand what they are. A GBM is basically a very, very basic rotary drill. Okay, so which means when I'm saying a rotary drill, so all the GBM machines are suitable for working on wood and metal. So I'm saying again, it's suitable for working on wood and metal. So what is a GSB? Okay, so GSB is a tool that can work on wood and metal, that's for sure. There is one more component that's added to the tool, and that's the impact mechanism. And the impact mechanism is through ratchet and sleeve, which means that it's going to create small impacts like this when you're drilling on a brick or a light concrete. Okay, so when we are drilling in brick or light concrete, so a normal drilling will not make you go inside the material. So it is this impact force that's very crucial in creating that groove that we make on the brick or a concrete. So it works like this, and it is this impact that helps us in drilling into a concrete or a brick wall. So there's another popular question that keeps coming up quite often. Is GSB tool good enough to work on light concrete or on a brick wall? But the question is, does it work on a concrete? The answer is yes. Okay, but the answer yes comes with an asterisk. What does it mean? So all the GSB tools, so the very nomenclature GSB is an impact drill. So all these impact drills are 100% suitable for working on brick wall, and they can also be used on light concrete, but that means that you're drilling on the light concrete sometimes during the day, right? Not a regular thing. But if somebody wants to do regular working on concrete, okay, we strongly recommend please use our Bosch hammers starting with GBH series. So any GBH hammer is highly recommended for working on concrete beams, pillars or columns, right? Yeah. So the next question that comes up frequently to us is, what are the best practices to keep the tool long lasting? All right. So what we need to do to keep it long lasting? This is like saying what are the preventive maintenance that we need to follow to make sure that the tool gives its maximum life or maximum benefits to us. So first and foremost is the tool has to be kept in dry and cool place, which means it should be away from moisture. That's something important. Second is it has to be away from dust also. So what do we do? So every time the work is done, so make sure that you're putting the tools back into this hard boxes and seal them properly, right? So that's important. There can also be instances, let's say you're not using the tool for months together, all right? So you have used it today and probably you're picking up the tool after 3 months or 6 months or maybe after an year also. So what do you do? So what we do is, in that case, you don't start the tool, you pick up a tool and start drilling. No, you don't do that. So what you do is, just observe me what you do. This tool does not go onto the job for work, okay? So you need to run at no load speed, right? So I'm stressing again, you need to run at the no load speed. So this is what I do. So what have I done now, right now? I triggered it on, all right? It was at a very low RPM, so let it run in low RPM for a few seconds. And then I increase the RPM and then I give it a full RPM, full throttle, and then it runs at full RPM for maybe, let's say, a minute or so. Why do we do that? Because we all know there would be grease on these gears, okay? So if you're not used for quite some time, maybe the grease has become slightly hardened, okay? So you need to do this in a very slow RPM so that the grease starts moving, and as the grease starts melting and you run the full RPM. So that means with that heat and friction, the grease has got covered all over the gears that you have, and that lubrication is good enough for the tool to start running. So that's first and foremost. Second thing, so when you are using the tool after a long time, or even for what is the maintenance that you need to do before you place it somewhere, make sure you check the cables. Cables are not brittle, and they won't be brittle because these are rubberized cables. So just check the cables are okay. Just check if the switch is okay. Also, please check the chuck, okay? And most important thing is you need to keep the chuck key back into the slot. So most often people tend to misplace this. So put this back into the slot. So I think if you follow this, you have done a pretty good job for keeping the tool for a long-lasting tenure. So I get this question quite often saying that there are sparks coming out of the tool, all right? And when the first time people use it, they find the sparks and they say, oh, what happened? Is the tool okay or something wrong with the way I'm using it? It's perfectly okay, okay? So when you use these tools for the first time, now look at this. This is a carbon brush. Slightly getting technical right now, but then that's for the understanding, better understanding. So whenever this carbon brush comes in contact with the commutator of the armature, it's but natural to have sparks on the edges, okay? That would only be for first few hours of use that you get the sparking, and once the groove settles to the same shape of the commutator, the spark would reduce substantially. So whenever you're using a new tool, not only this impact drill series of Bosch, any of the Bosch new tools, the sparking is but natural, but don't worry about this. After a few hours of use, the sparking will go away. Nothing to worry. Okay. This is something that we face in our Indian subcontinent, and this is a regular thing that we face, rusting of these drill bits, all right? It's okay for the drill bits to rust. Don't worry too much about that. If you find a drill bit slightly rusted or maybe 50% of it rusted, nothing to worry. Why I'm saying this? Only thing is maybe the appearance of the drill bit becomes different, but functionally the drill bit is perfectly nice and good enough to work on any surfaces. It has no bearing on the working of the drill bit itself. So it's perfectly okay if the drill bits are rusted. You might find some drill bits rusted during delivery, that's okay. Or even after a few years of usages, you might find some of them rusted, nothing to worry. You can still continue the work. It hardly matters to the output of the work that you're going to do, right? Yeah. So the question that keeps coming to us again is, what's the difference between a GSB 10RE and a GSB 13RE? Both the nomenclatures look the same, so there's only the numerical difference between 10 and 13. So for example, let's pick up this tool. So this is a GSB 13RE. So what's special about this tool? So when we see the number 13, so this denotes that's the size of the chuck. So what you have here is a 13 mm chuck, all right? And what you have here, so this is a GSB 10RE. Now this has got a 10 mm chuck. Please see the chuck size in both of them. I'm sure you will understand the size of the chucks are different, okay? So this is a 10 mm chuck on GSB 10RE, and this is the 13 mm chuck on GSB 13RE, all right? And one more difference of GSB 13RE is, so the grip here is rubberized. That's for fatigue-free working, all right? Now you see this grip, it's totally rubberized.